Today I'm going to be talking about race and racism and my observations of it throughout my college career. Now, to give you guys a little bit of background about myself, I go to the University of Akron. I am going into my 5th year. I have about 3 semesters left, 10 classes to be exact, before I'll have my bachelor's in electronics engineering tech. And I wanted to make this video because I've been in college for 4 years now, and I've seen a lot of things from different groups of people. And race and racism has been something that's been talked about a lot in the news lately, and a lot of people are having discussion on it. So I wanted to offer my perspective on what I've seen throughout my 4 years in college. So I grew up in Akron, Ohio by Chapel Hill Mall, and I graduated from North High School. I come from a middle class background, and actually North High School is ranked as the most diverse high school in the state of Ohio. We have a lot of immigrants, we have a lot of blacks and whites that go there. So I grew up around a lot of different races, ethnicities, religions, whatever. And I never ever had issues with race when I was in high school. I mean, I had white friends, I had black friends, I had Asian friends, I had Hispanic friends. I mean, I like one of my Mexican friends actually invited me over to his house, and his parents cooked me like a traditional Mexican meal. It was spicy as hell, but hey, it tasted good. But then when I got to college, a lot of people didn't have that experience that I had when it came to dealing or interacting with different types of people. And I've noticed that, as soon as I started college, because within the first few weeks, being in the engineering living learning community, and I remember one time we went to the school cafeteria all together with the women's in engineering living learning community. And I remember that one of the girls there actually said that, wow, you're one of the first black guys that I ever talked to. A lot of the stuff that I've seen on TV just doesn't seem true no more. And I was shocked that, someone could say that, because to say that, every black person acts like, Tyler Perry or Madea or whatever, it's somewhat offensive, but it's a little bit laughable. And then another story I have for you guys is I was actually a member. I am no longer. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Of this group called Student African American Brotherhood, and this group was about helping the black community, and I like doing volunteer work, and I like mentoring people, because one of the ways I changed my life around when I was a teenager is because I got involved in the 100 Black Men Leadership Academy, and they were about their business. They helped me with a lot of things, and I used to be that kid that would get in fights. I almost got expelled twice, and I was constantly getting suspended. Then I got into that leadership academy. Basically went from probably on the road to getting expelled, and probably being a life of being a criminal, to having a 4.0 grade point average in high school. And I'm very passionate when it comes to mentoring at-risk youth. But this group, they have a lot of, I would call it like black supremacy. And the last meeting that I went to was the topic was, black women are the most strongest women on the face of the planet. And automatically, I was getting in arguments with them, because to say that a certain group of people based off their skin tone are better than other groups of people based off their skin tone, I think that's racist, and I think you're being a supremacist. And I'm not saying that black women don't go through things in this country, but to say that they're the strongest, and it's just, you're supposed to judge people on their their individual merits, the things that they've done on an individual basis. I told them that, well, my neighbors are from Bosnia. They escaped the genocide that happened back there in the early 90s. A lot of the women during that genocide were raped. A lot of the people were murdered. And I could say that Bosnian women might be the strongest women on the planet. And they were like, no, well, that's, whatever. And I said, well, you always have to look at someone's individual experiences to why they might be stronger than others. And then it's just a back and forth. And then when I was leaving a little bit early because I had a class to go to, I remember one of the leaders, I think it was the president or the vice president, said that, don't let that white woman change you on my way out. And I didn't even look back, because I was like furious when he told me that. I was very, very, very angry. And I was a little bit late to class, so I wanted to walk around a little bit and just cool off. But it just really upsetted me because he was referring to my girlfriend. And even though I grew up around lots of white people, I never really looked at race. And to say that my girlfriend would change my views of being a black man or whatever, it's just really really angry. Like to attack me as a black man for dating a white woman really pissed me off. And I just walked away because I didn't even want to respond to that ignorance. But and then my experiences with white people are, I would say, generally pretty positive. And actually, even with the most of the black people I met throughout college are actually pretty positive as well. It's just a few minor exceptions. But when it comes to dealing with, or actually, interacting with white people, a lot of them come from areas which aren't very diverse. They come from rural areas. And I remember there was this conversation, there was this girl who I think was the friend of, or was a friend of one of my friends or whatever. And it was just a group conversation. And I don't know how we got on the topic about like crime and things like that. But I remember her saying something that was, it seemed almost like she was trying to be racist, but she was like avoiding using certain words or whatever. And what she said was, well, and the tone of her voice was uppity as well. And I remember her saying that, well, I come from a rich gated community where we don't have to deal with crime. It's this thug culture in Akron where, I don't even have to lock my doors, but in Akron you can get robbed for, walking down the street too late at night. And I was thinking, well, if you live in a city, there's 200,000 people in Akron, so there's a lot of things that go on. There's a lot of different kinds of people, and not everyone is well off. A lot of people are very poor, and a lot of times that like poverty breeds, or not breeds, but it brings in a lot of crime, and that's just the way it is. You get rid of poverty, for the most part, you get rid of petty crime, crime, or whatever. And there was another guy who was like, well, Chris, you need to stop, you need to stop acting like you're black. And that was something that really pissed me off. Because this was a person that, he actually apologized for saying that after I ranted on Facebook about it. But I noticed that wasn't the first time that someone says, oh, you're acting black. Chris, you're not black. You're a white guy. And I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? So being black is generally attributed to being, acting like a coon or something like that? I'm not going around here, stealing old ladies' purses or nothing like that. So then I guess I'm not black. That's what it seemed like. Or if you talk well and you know how to conduct yourself in a well-behaved manner, then obviously you're not black, or you're acting white. And that in particular really pisses me off, because I'm acting like Chris Hawley. I like being a funny guy. I like cracking jokes. I have a very crude sense of humor. But in that particular situation, I remember the guy actually apologized to me through a message and in person, and say that he was deeply regretful for what he said. And I accepted it, because a lot of people make mistakes. I know I made quite a few mistakes, and a lot of people, gave me a second chance or whatever. The last thing that I want to touch on when it comes to this topic is the way that people deal with race and racism in college. I think that the way that people go about it, when it comes to being, like, a lot of people, they want to be polite. They don't want to offend people. They don't want to ask people questions. You might have a best friend, or, a really good friend of yours who might be of a different race, and you're scared to ask him a question like, oh, why do black people like, I don't know, why do they like watching certain kinds of movies or whatever? I don't know, something like that. And it's actually, this is actually a good story I want to tell you guys. When I was a freshman, I remember this one girl, she's black. She told me that her white roommate asked her, and she was like so scared, like she was like, she was being, I'm not trying to offend, I'm just very curious, and I just generally don't know, how can you have your hair go from what the white girl said, fluffy, to being straight? And she explained it to her, she wasn't mad or anything, but when she told me that, we were both laughing, because it was just something that, wow, like, she was not only scared to ask such a, a basic question, but she doesn't know that people put certain stuff in their hair to make it look a certain way. It was just like funny to us or it was funny, especially to me, because I fell off the couch laughing. But and then also a lot of people, they're very scared to I think that if you're good friends with someone and you have a question about their culture or certain things that maybe their race does, such as, I don't know, like black people, we like eating certain types of food. Like, why do black people like chitlins? Or why do black people like eating chitlins? Well, then you can explain to them the history behind it, and then they're no longer ignorant on the topic. Bam, that's solved. Or, you know, you can ask a white person, uh, shit, I don't know, like, why do you like Justin Bieber? I don't know. That was actually stupid. I don't know. Like, you can ask them certain questions that would you know, maybe you might be ignorant of, and then you're no longer ignorant of. So I think that's all I gotta say for this video. And the moral of this story is just be open minded towards other people. Ask people questions, and remember, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all, you know, bone. We're all, like, you know, the same on the inside or whatever. Some shit like that. But thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment below, and tell me what you guys think about everything that I said in this video. Am I right? Am I wrong? You think this stuff is interesting? Whatever. And enjoy your day.